And here it is, the MiG-29K. Honestly, this thing felt pretty good to play. There's a good amount of missiles, that has a pretty decent radar. The RWR is still Russian, but it is manageable. And overall, the flight model feels pretty good. Now, we are going to be flying around on the 108, 109% throttle. Because on 110%, this is the actual emergency setting, and you will kill your engines incredibly quickly. Now, I personally didn't have to go to 110% very often. I did do it a couple of times on accident, but in terms of dogfights and stuff like that, you don't really need it, but it's very nice to have when you are in a 1v1 engagement and you are getting low on energy and you have that ability to just get an extra boost out and have the ability to hang with the competition just that little bit better. At 13.7, the matchmaker is of course a little bit questionable sometimes. The full up tiers are a little bit rough, and the down tiers are rough as well, except for your enemies. Now, it's not quite the Su-27 SM, and I would say that that is still the better pick. Other than maybe 1v1s, we haven't exactly tested it, but it might actually beat it in a 1v1. But considering that doesn't happen all that often, and considering the missile load differences, the Su-27 SM will just be the better pick overall, but it feels really good to finally play a fulcrum that isn't completely cheeks to operate. Overall, we had a pretty good time. I am going to go into replays here in a little bit, because, well, my recording didn't really work out other than these 3 clips at the very start. One issue, there is no radar on the right of the screen. For some reason, Gaijin kind of messed with this and put it on the bottom of the screen. It's off screen. Sometimes you'll see some text appear on the bottom right where the radar is supposed to be. Kind of annoying, but it doesn't really hinder us too much, considering the TWS and stuff still works, so you still know what I am looking at. Now, how are we going to be playing this thing? Now, I like to be at the sidelines a little bit. I'm not quite in the thick of it, because we just don't have that many missiles, and the missiles that we do have don't have that much range, as these are regular R-77. So you do want to get a little bit closer, but luckily with the flight performance that we have, that is not too much of an issue. And luckily, if we get too close, we still have 2 R-73s as backup, which of course handle as you expect. And here we have the first game. Now, our dumbasses forgot that I can take the airspan, so I take off from the runway, and I'm going to be a little bit late. Luckily, because we have to play this from the sidelines, or at least I want to play this from the sidelines, this isn't too much of an issue, because now I have a little bit of a buffer in front of me. I don't have to worry about the first engagement, where you see in a second there's going to be 20 missiles being launched from the enemy team. You do not want to deal with all of this. You just don't. So being second in isn't too much of an issue. We go to the left. We go defensive. I don't really have to worry about going offensive just yet, because let's be honest, I don't have the range to do so anyway. Missile starts to get close, so last second I do start to get into the notch. We dodge the missile and we go back into the middle of the game. Now, I try to be a little bit wide. There's 2 people engaging friendlies, and because I'm the second one in the row, I'm actually kind of uncontested and I get to shoot at them for free. Now, the first guy dies before I get to him. The Gripen actually manages to dodge my missile, but he starts pulling in at about 5 kilometers. He's pulling fully, and at this point he is not going to be dodging that anymore, and he's going to take it straight into the cockpit, and that is going to be kill number 1. Now, the flank is kind of clear, and we see a guy at high altitude, so we lock him up and we're just going to launch on him while holding TWS. Not really much happening for the time being, but it's all about positioning, as it always is in top tier. So this guy is busy shooting at someone else. He gets smited out of the air, and then we do the exact same thing to this guy over here that is also flying directly at me. And this is why it's so important to not be the first one in. People are being engaged by someone else, people are not paying attention, you come from an angle that they aren't exactly expecting, and just like that we get 3 pretty easy kills. Now, at this point, the team is looking kind of rough, and we know where they are because I have a TWS lock on them, so we're just going to get our way over there. But for now, I don't really want to use an R-77 because he can either multi-pad it or just dodge it outright. And considering I only have 1 left, I choose to go for the R-73 as I come directly from the top. Down he goes, kill number 4, and then we start getting engaged by a couple of F-14s. And F-14s really aren't that much of an issue in this. Keep in mind that Phoenixes got reworked and they're actually really agile now. But also keep in mind that they are also pretty slow. And, I mean, they're actually kind of okay to handle pretty easily. So, we multipad above the water. I'm going to use this little bit of terrain to perhaps dodge his missiles. Unfortunately, he shoots them at a range where this doesn't really come into play. So we're just gonna go into the multipad. I do want to pressure this guy. He is high, he's only 6 kilometers out. He's still flying straight at me. So we just kind of hold fire for him to get a little bit closer. And then when he's close enough and he's not quite able to start notching anymore, he eats the missile directly on the forehead. And that is going to be kill number 5, as we are now out of missiles. Second F-14 comes in, we turn in, we pre-flare, and this guy just gives me the easiest shot in the world. And that is going to be game number 1. For the next match we have Enduring Confrontation, and personally I'm a fan of this because people are a little bit further apart and it's easier to play from the sidelines this way. You're not getting shot at by 17 people at the same time. Yes, I am including that one teammate, or perhaps even 2. And you actually get to use your flight performance in a meaningful way. Not just energy fighting with missiles, not just BVR, because there the flight performance still matters of course. But it's nice to actually be able to use your flight performance against, say, an F-18 and actually have a little bit of a dogfight so you can see the differences. I'm a fan of Enduring Confrontation with planes like these because, well, we only have 6 missiles, they don't have that much range, and when you run into 1, maybe 2 enemies at the same time without 7 teammates around, you actually have the ability to shoot at them and not worry that your missile will reach them just after a teammate shoots him down. So all of this is good for us. We are now at 9,000 meters. We are just on the contrail level. We don't want to warn everyone where we are exactly. We're going pretty fast. We have some logs. We have the people on the radar. And for now, I'm just waiting for them to get a little bit closer. Or perhaps show that they are busy with someone else and that I can probably kill them relatively easily. We're just sitting up here. We're waiting for the enemy to kind of just bunch up below us. 18 kilometers out, first missile, second missile, and that might just be 2 little kills. Now they are on the deck, they have no idea that we're there, and we're just raining those missiles straight down. There comes the first kill, and there comes kill number 2, 2 premium F-18s. Not exactly the hardest people to kill, as they are mostly not that familiar with top tier. But that is the reality of this game mode. There are a lot of people that don't know what they're doing. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But it makes it a little bit difficult sometimes to find footage that is actually pretty interesting. Now this guy shows to be dead. He's not. We're shooting a missile at him. We're shooting 2 missiles at him. Here comes kill number 3. And now we're kind of clear. We have no one around us. We have nothing on the RWR. And I look to be just kind of cruising around, so I'm going to work my way towards the 3 guys that are in front of me on the deck. Now, not all of them are actually dead. I'm sorry about the replays. Gaijin just really likes messing with this stuff. J37 gets shot down by someone else, and this is what I mean with small maps. If everyone is congregating on a single spot, it's very hard to shoot at range because the chances of you actually getting that kill are pretty low. And when we only have 2 missiles left, that is a big setback. So I'm just going to hold my fire and wait for people to come to me again. Now here I actually fire on this guy because I thought that the Su-30 didn't really see him. He's kind of flying straight, and then last second as my missile is getting close to my teammate, he fires off one himself and he actually gets a kill out of it. Now that's a little bit unfortunate. I wasted yet another missile. Luckily in this instance it doesn't really come back to haunt me, but it's something that you want to avoid nonetheless. Su-30 engages an F-18, he trades with him, he's finally out of the match. I didn't get to contribute anything to another kill, and now my team is looking pretty dry, and I'm going to have to look for the last couple of enemies. Because other than that one TWS log that I have no clue where they are. Now I have him locked up, he is getting closer to me, so I'm just going to wait a little bit as my teammate is busy eating shit. So we shoot an R77 on this guy, he is straight below us, multipad might not work. So we just send a missile his way, the missile actually misses and hits the ground, does some damage to him, takes off one of his elevators. We shoot an R-73, doesn't do any damage. But we can now merge with this guy. There's only one other teammate or enemy left. And the F-18C isn't a demon in a dogfight anyway. And the MiG-29K doesn't have much issue handling it, especially if your enemy is already completely crippled. Now he tries to go in for the head-on here. You can see he only had one elevator. Squeeze the trigger, take him down. And then we look at the JAS-39 that's coming from our 1 o'clock position. So we are gonna dive in here. I do want to use the terrain a little bit. I want to get closer. I have an R-77 myself, so I actually have the ability to shoot back in the head-on. We use this little valley here, or this little terrain, to go below the missile. We then pitch up, shoot it at him, go into the notch, and that's way too close for a derby. That is never going to be pulling in, and that is going to be kill number 5. And here we are yet again back on Spain after they won the World Cup. We flank, we go up over the entire map, and there is a couple of guys directly underneath me. Now the unfortunate news is that I have a couple of friendlies underneath me as well, which I kind of didn't account for, or a little bit too late, so the chances of me getting a kill out of this are pretty slim. Luckily I do get a kill. The bad news is it ends up being a friendly, and this is why I always say never shoot missiles into contested airspace where there's a lot of friendlies around, because the chances of that missile going to the wrong target are always there. And I can blame the missile for going for the wrong target. I have the right guy locked up, or whatever you want to say. At the end of the day, I fired a missile, I am responsible, and I am terribly sorry if you are watching this gameplay. So we are now above everyone. We don't have that many missiles left, and the game is already kind of in the last phases of the match. And this is the issue that I have with top tier, and the issue that I have with getting footage for top tier, because very often, even if you get a fantastic match, it only ends up being like 2 or 3 minutes long, and you're gonna need like 10 good games to fill out a full video. And then most of your kills are going to be kills like this, where the enemy flies perfectly straight and nothing really happens. That is kill number 2. What have we done so far? Well, we've flown straight, we've team killed a guy, then killed 2 guys that weren't really defending my missile, and that's it. That's the game. We got 2 kills, plus 1 I guess, and now they are going to go for the runway, and this is the runway without any AA, so I can just kind of rush into them. This guy is 7 kilometers away. I am thinking about it, you know, I am just waiting for him to go really slow, and I can probably fire it from like 5 kilometers. If he's going slow, if he's going in for the landing, but at range, these gate-width ILCCM missiles are just pretty easy to flare. And if he is paying attention, well, that is just a bit of a shame. So this guy is on the runway. I just go into the valley here, or into the river, and we are gonna pop up, HMD him with an R-73, and then we just dip back into the terrain, and he doesn't really react. That is kill number 4, I guess. We don't really do anything this match, and I just want to show you that getting 4 kills really doesn't mean anything when all the kills that you are getting look like this. We have an F-18 in front. He's going super slow. I end up behind him. I have a lot of ammo, so I'm going to use all of that ammo. We hit him, and the F-18E isn't exactly that scary in a dogfight, especially if he's slow, but with the damage that he sustained, he is actually going to lose so much speed. He is almost going to be pulling into this first shot right here. Now I do say almost, because he's not going to be able to pull it off. He is way too slow to do anything. We wrap over and behind him. We're going to use all of the ammo that we paid for, and I want to apologize for today's quality, as this is not a standard that I strive to achieve. Next one will be better. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in that one instead.